Audio in 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome to the Jeremiah Show. Dr. D, how you doing this week?
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
You got some good energy today, and you need that. We need that for this show. This is going to be a really fun, energetic show with our good friend Billy Mandarino. Dr. D, I'm actually counting on you to talk to. I know this is your realm, your world with your talk show.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
I think this is going to be a really great show. I want to get right to Billy Mandarino, our special guest today. He lives here in Santa Barbara along with us, a local gentleman with his wife, Desa Marie, and their daughter, Gianna.
Oh, wow.
Okay, his book is The Now-Ist. And it comes along at a perfect time, in my opinion, in our lives right now, in this world, in this present state. If the pandemic taught us anything, it has taught us how to be present, to live in the now, and even maybe re-examine what we hold in value in our lives. In Billy Mandarino's book, The Now-Ist, Finding the Signs to Your Ultimate Desires in No Time, Billy writes with a sharp command of the language, with skill and personal experiences that he tells us through story. Examples of how you can find your true self through a fulfilled life. And who doesn't want that?
Exactly.
So I'm going to let Billy tell us what the Now-Ist is. What is a Now-Ist, Billy Mandarino? Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so honored to have this moment with you and Dr. D. Last show was incredible, by the way. Everybody loved it. So many great reviews and comments and calls and texts and emails. Everybody really loved the show you and Dr. D produced last time on my band, In the Present Tense. Kirsten, Candy, and I were on. It was so fun. You guys are world-class interviewers, you two.
That's so nice. So you think I take that as a huge compliment coming from you. You really have a really great way of writing. There are a few writers that just really grab you and tell a story, and also put their put the book, the ideas that you're putting forth, kind of into a relatable terms and a relatable story. I really love reading your writing. It just flows. It's really good.
I think, I don't know, the best writing for me is storytelling. It just relate to people. I don't know if of course you've been to many talks and you've seen people give presentations or keynote presentations, but when they get to a story, have you noticed how you just kind of perk up in your chair a little bit?
Yeah.
And kind of zone in on them, and you all say, wait a minute, I'm relating to this person at a human level, and I get it. And their point, whatever they're trying to convey to the audience, just lands better. Have you noticed that?
For sure. And I mean, it was really apparent in your book, and that's why I bring that up first. Is that's what struck me. I mean, the stories are short and sweet and right to the point. And I mean, everybody from Prince to the Buddha, you bring into the storytelling.
Sure, two gurus for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, storytelling definitely. That's what we try to do on this show. That's what Tell Me Your Story is all about, right, Dr. D?
Yeah, absolutely.
Storytelling is, it's about being human, I think, and connecting. And we've got this response. I think I call it a responsibility. I don't know if that's too big of a word for it, or too much pressure on it. But I feel like passing on our stories, and then so that others can learn from them, is really a big part of this being a human being.
The intention of the book. It's a spiritual memoir. It's a story. It's a way of connecting with people that are caught in stress, overwhelm, anxiety, outcome focus. This world is giving us a huge challenge right now, dealing with stress and overwhelm. And our present moments, for most people, are full of what I call infobesity. Where you're obese with information. I got that from a great teacher, Pastor Larry at the Old Mission. When my wife and I have been married 27 years this October 8th.
Congratulations.
And the Old Mission has been a place of just sanctuary for our whole family. And Dr. Larry once was given a talk and he says, man, we are obese with information. We have infobesity. And I feel like we're all suffering from infobesity right now, because we're overwhelmed with the news. People wake up with news. They have habits of, their phone is right there, instant news all the time. Go to bed with news, you wake up with news. This infobesity, this information is overwhelming everybody. Well, I'm trying to go into inspiration. I'm trying to take you out of infobesity and into the present moment where inspiration lives. And if you can get it inspired, not motivated, if you can get inspired, you can learn to live a different quality of life. You can notice the present moment consistently throughout your day. And that's what a Now-Ist is. It's somebody lives 90% of their day in present moment awareness, aware of what's happening, and then knowing how to shift out of the stress, the overwhelm, and anxiety skillfully. And so that's what I teach in the book. Through my stories, I teach people how to get out of that river of life that keeps pulling you through all these experiences without any awareness of what's going on. Most people are caught up in their habits. They don't have the awareness to realize, wait a minute, if I went to bed every night and I quit focusing on all the problems of my life, the last 5 minutes of my day, and thought about what I didn't get done, what I want to get done tomorrow, and I live in this time-bound world, it's just a trap. Instead of spending the last 5 minutes of your day away from your phone, using your imagination, I think is one of the greatest gifts we've been given, to focus on what is good in your life and what is going to be better tomorrow, and living in peace before you go to sleep, which is a really powerful part of your day. We spend, 8 hours a day in bed, right? A third of our life is asleep if we're getting our 8 hours. And most people just, the last 5 minutes of your day is full of what you don't want. And then you marinate. Studies have proven that you marinate the last 5 minutes of your day, whatever's in your awareness, lasts there for 4 hours in your subconscious mind. So people are going to bed. Half of their sleep is with stress, and their imagination, their subconscious mind is giving all these images and these scary dreams because you're feeding yourself stress before you go to bed. And that's the reparative state. The parasympathetic system, which is the relaxation system, the repairing system of your body. If you can get in that subconscious state, that semi-somnolent state before you go to sleep, and you prime yourself for good rest, then this beautiful thing called the law of attraction activates, and you start putting good out, and all of a sudden good things start happening to you. So that's what I teach people. I coach people. I had my first live seminar this past May, and I'm just inspired to serve people. And my dharma, my purpose, is to create this legion of Now-Ists, people that learn to live skillfully in the present moment and to get out of the stress that the world and their days and their family and their jobs are feeding them. You have to be aware. Awareness is the key to getting out of kind of what shows up in your life. If you don't have an awareness, stress, you're easy pickings.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I like to, regardless of what we've watched up to that point, right before I go to sleep, I like to watch cartoons. I'll watch King of the Hill. I'll watch Futurama, Family Guy, anything. And again, I go into cartoons knowing they're stupid. All right. I know that. I grew up with Warner Brothers.
They make you laugh.
They make me laugh.
Porky Pig, Bugs Bunny, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Family Guy. You're a big Family Guy
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
right?
King of the Hill.
You didn't even know we had Dan Navarro on, and he's a Family Guy voiceover.
Yeah.
A few minutes ago. Good thing I didn't tell you. Otherwise, that's what the whole interview would have been. But Billy, I want to kind of unravel that. Go back to the beginning, where you said we've got infobesity, and I totally agree with that. But we also, you say, don't have, I forget exactly how you put it, but we have all that information, but it's almost too much. So it's no good at all, right? Is that what you're, it's almost too much so that it paralyzes us in a way. And we're not in tune and are in touch
Dr.
with the
D,
things that matter.
How do things work out in your life when you have too much to do? Like when you look at your calendar and it's loaded and you're thinking about the past appointment that you're pushed to too late, and you go, all this stuff to do. We're human. It sounds corny, but we're human beings, not human doings. But we spend so much time in the doing, the instant gratification that the world is kind of conditioning us to be in and to live in. So when you have a lot to do, I mean, how does that make you feel?
Oh
gosh, I got to. You get caught up in the overwhelming anxiety by a way of life, just by a habit. And that habit, there's no reason you have to live in that overwhelm. It's because we've allowed ourselves to just be like the Joneses and just succumb to what is the status quo, instead of skillfully with awareness, realizing, wait a minute, I feel this. It's simple, right? You think it's why it's just, okay, the now is always with me. Why don't I connect to it? It's because we get caught up in time. There's a chronological time. There's this linear timeline that we get, this past, this future that we live in. where the key is to get into the vertical. When you can get into the vertical, which is here, now, in this moment, that's when you get out of time. That's that awareness, which takes you out of stress, because you have to be out of physical time to have a peaceful moment. And we live in that physical time. But when you're overwhelmed, it's like anytime you rush, how does that work out for you? When you're running, when you think how many car accidents happen because people were rushing, looking at their phone, focused on the radio or talking to the kid or eating food. They happen when you're not aware and you're not present. I mean, if you are present, if you learn how to get in the present moment consistently as a way of life, it's crazy, because your life will become very simple, very completely abundant, because you'll have control over this out of control situation that most people right now are full of, this information age, where they think that they got to hit their Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, look at the news, do their emails, make sure their schedule's on time, feed the kids, right? Have a date night. There's so much to do. But the simplest solution to me, I found, is in just a 3-letter word, one, O-N-E. When you can do one thing at a time with presence, it seems simple. When you get consistently in the present moment, you win. And what is now spelled backwards, Dr. D?
Now spelled backwards is one.
Exactly. When you're in the
Only
now,
it's the kind of one as you are winning.
exactly. You've won the present moment back. So one simple thing, and it's a simple acronym, a word, an anagram spelled backwards spells a different word. When you're in the now, you've won. You've won. It's a simple concept, but I'll tell you that one thing every day, I live in it. I'm a busy guy. I've got 100 properties I manage in my property management company. I sell a lot of property. I mean, obviously, I'm a speaker, author. The greatest thing I've ever done in my life is to be a dad to Gianna, married to my beautiful wife, Desa, for 27 years. I'm a golfer. I love to golf. I'm a musician, and we write music, we perform music. We just put out a record in May. Like, I do a lot of stuff, but I do it without stress.
Jeremiah, you need to get guests on here who have a life. Okay. You really do. Because this guy, he's not doing anything.
Yeah, he's got nothing to talk about. Nothing to teach us.
I hope I'm not sounding braggadocious. I'm not doing anything that anybody else can do. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just a regular guy.
And I know Jeremiah's got a lot of questions he wants asked, but I want to throw this out to you real quick on this whole issue of now and one. The whole aspect of doing things perfectly, the people who have OCD and so forth. And I came to this conclusion years ago that perfection, and I studied it through biblical things where, it talks about be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. And I did some study and I realized what that means is not to be good, not to be right, not to follow all the rules. It's just to be, to be.
Obviously Shakespeare, right? To be or not to be, that's the question that I ask him. But it's so simple, isn't it? And the problem is, once again, back to InfoBC, my beautiful grandmother, my Nana, who passed away January 8th, 2011, which is January 8th, an auspicious day in my family. And I'll tell you more about that date and why it's so auspicious and important to my life and my family. But she always would say, boy, she called me boy, ignorance is bliss. And I used to think, man, she told me that like when I was in junior high. I thought, ignorance is bliss. I don't want to be stupid. I'm trying to get good grades. I'm not a great student. Ignorance. I finally got it as I got older. No, the simplicity that Dr. D's talking about, right? It's in biblical, all kinds of spiritual texts. The simplicity is where the growth is and where the joy is and where the abundance lives. This perfectionism is a curse that the world serves you up in magazine covers and in movies and the Joneses, and it's perfect. You are perfect as you are in this moment. There's nothing to do, only to be done, as it says in the Tao Te Ching. Contentment. And a quote from my book is when you have everything you want, you get everything you have everything you need, you get everything you want. When you are content in this moment, you have everything you need, you get everything you want because you activate this cosmic thing called the law of attraction. When you can get in content and contentment, you can bring abundance in your life because you're not striving. Perfectionism is the curse that pushes people's, abundance away. They don't know how to be because they're sold this bill of goods, this bad bill of goods by media, by social media. We need more conscious shows like this on the airwaves, on mainstream, because this is a message I think that the world needs to hear. And it's just been my mission. And I will do this until I take my last breath because I feel like this is my purpose. Beyond being a beautiful father of my beautiful daughter and my wife, but this is truly my dharma, which is Sanskrit for purpose.
So I've known Billy for 10 to 12 years. He's always this positive. I'm sure his wife, his daughter could probably tell us some other stories here and there, but, but you're a positive guy. This is who you are. And I honestly, I was thinking about this today when preparing for the interview. I thought, I've always wondered about people such as yourself who have this calling to serve and help others. So, like, how come you're wired that way, Billy? Why do you feel that way? Why are you drawn to helping others? And where did that come from? Can you pinpoint it, or is it just in your DNA?
That's a great question. I feel like I answered a calling. And I think we all get callings. We all get inspirations. We all get signs and synchronicities. You both know what synchronicity is, right? Carl Jung coined that phrase, synchronicity. It's like a random experience, a happenstance, a joyful coincidence. You think it has nothing to do with you, but actually it's the universe giving you signs to follow. I call them spiritual breadcrumbs. You follow these and you find yourself out of the woods, out of this forest that we all live in. It seems that there's no intention to it. There's no direction. What is the meaning of life? Why am I here? I just had this overwhelming inspiration. And it happened on a golf course. I told a little bit of this satori, this flash of enlightenment that I had on the last interview with my band in the present tense. But I'll give you a short version just because this is a new interview. And to answer your question in the shortest way possible, I'm going to give you the brief version of the satori. And a satori is a flash of enlightenment in the Zen tradition. And so I was golfing one day. And I'm a frustrated golfer, throwing clubs, breaking clubs. Yeah, you think I'm this calm, got it together.
I knew there was a spot somewhere out there where you let it go.
I was a mess. I don't have a lot of vices. I don't drink, smoke, drugs, stuff. I was just caught up in this game. And this game was like my vice, like drug. And when I was having a bad day or stressed out or worried about whatever it was, money, relationship, people, illness, I would just go out and play golf, and it became like my best buddy. But when your best buddy kind of leaves, right, you're just on your own.
Your best buddy's picking on you.
I don't know if you guys have played golf, but man, it can leave you. It can leave you. The game can just like all of a sudden, like, what? I don't know how to hit the ball. I don't know how to putt or chip, or the joy I lost. And this game is gone. I lost it. So this is one of those days. And I was having some problems in my life, and my buddy left. And so I was throwing clubs and I was breaking clubs. I was just a crazy man. And you read about this in the book, the Now-Ist. But this one hole, I swung my driver is the club you hit at the beginning of your tee shot, right? Par 4, I hit this driver as hard as I could, and it went far, but I still threw the driver after I hit the shot because I was still pissed. I was still just like over it. So I walk up to my club, and I'm thinking as I'm walking up to my ball that I'm just going to set the clubs down and just walk to my car and just leave these clubs here and quit this game because it's not fun. This is not what I signed up for. And as I am setting the club down, I get this like weird shaft of energy. My hands started to tingle. I started feeling this tightness in my chest. I felt like I was having a heart attack or a stroke, which is kind of funny because in golf, when you hit a shot, they call it a stroke. I thought, isn't that ironic? And I realized that this energy is leaving me. This energy, which I think is what you called your soul at the time, is leaving me. And so this energy started like floating. And I started to notice that I had this awareness of seeing this physical body on the golf course. Then I started like separating from it. I was having an out of body experience. And what I learned later from this brilliant teacher, Eckhart Tolle, who wrote a book called The Power of Now, that it was my highest self looking at my lowest self, and having this experience created this satori. And I realized that, oh my gosh, I am above my body. I'm dying, or I'm having some experience that I've never had in my life. And I felt like it was because I was stressing out so much that I had this flash of awakening. So when I imagine myself being a playful guy that I am and a competitive guy, I imagine my highest self hitting that ball, watching my lower self hit that ball in the hole. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is so cruel. And it was like my imagination took over and my spirit just took over. It's an instant, like zoom, like my highest self went into my body. And I just kind of like shook off and picked up the club, and I hit the ball in the hole in real life from 74 yards. It hit 6 feet short of the pin. It went in the hole. And I threw my club up in the air, and I was so excited, like I won the Masters. And it turns out that I walked to my car. I don't think I played the next hole. I can't even remember. I walked to my car and sat there for an hour and just thought, this is not a golf thing. This is a life thing. And this experience, this flash of enlightenment just It changed my life. And that's what started me on this journey. That's what started me on this journey.
Mm.
To write this book.
Instead of imagining yourself out of your body hitting a golf ball into a hole, you should have taken yourself to the liquor store and bought a lottery ticket. Imagine yourself picking the winning numbers.
Yeah, I feel that.
So is that how the Now-Ist? I mean, because that's your phrase. And I think that it's such a timely, great way to summarize how we should live in the now. Did that happen on that day, or did more development and following the path of the spiritual breadcrumb
that
you were
happened
given that day?
actually. I've known you about 12 years, Jeremiah. That's about the time this happened. Like, because I remember my band played a show for one of your restaurants, and I remember it was probably, I don't know, 12 years ago or about that time.
Was I the cause of your anger? Somehow? Did I pay you? I paid the band?
In my marriage, in my life, financially, I just had a lot of challenges back then. And I just remember being, and we had a new daughter, and it was like this stress. I just was not ready to deal with it.
Billy, you went going back again to that, because you said something really important, and then we moved past it with sleep and being such an important role in that 5 minutes or 10 minutes that you'd wind down. And I know this is a big part of the book too, and part of your steps, the steps that helped you and that help others. The imagination, winding down. Dr. D watches cartoons, and I laughed, but I laughed in a good way in an annoying way, because I watch stupid sitcoms before I go to bed, so that I just, it's totally mindless.
Possibly could do. That's brilliant.
Yeah, just to laugh, and the same thing with no news and no, just the things that distract you. Then I put my phone across the room, and I just, so it doesn't face down, so I don't see any lights, and I don't look at it from 7 to 7. But that's an important part of that imagination. I wanted you to explore that a little bit more, because I don't know if I understand that part of it. You talked about in that time, using your imagination to help clear that conscious to really rest, and then realize and be fulfilled the next day in the things that you want. What do you mean by the using your imagination? Could you explain that a little?
Yeah, your imagination, I believe, is the greatest gift that we've been given by God, the creator, the source, whatever you want to call what created us and brought us into this life. I believe the imagination is the greatest gift we've been given, because you can control your life through your intentions and through your focus and through your imagination. That's why when you're getting ready to fall asleep, and I love that Dr. D watches cartoons and you watch sitcoms, because when you can get into that state where your imagination is filled before you go to sleep with joy, with happy feelings, with like, you're upregulating chemistry in your body, serotonin, adrenaline, positive emotions. So you're actually hardwiring your physiology and your subconscious mind, which is where 96% of everything we do in our waking mind is done, right? You drive a car, I hit a golf ball. If you're a cook, you cook a souffle, whatever it is, you do that from your subconscious mind. And if 96% of our day is spent in that subconscious mind, and you enter your subconscious mind when you go to sleep, how are you priming your subconscious mind to take you into your waking life? So doing habits like that, like watching funny things before you go to bed, falling asleep with ease and with no stress. They say, you've heard it before, a body at ease will not create dis-ease. So if you learn how to live in a skillful way out of ease through great habits and rituals, you can start changing what shows up in your waking life. So your imagination, you can take that, you can expand that imagination because it's limitless. I think we were going to a break, but I'll expand on that once we come back.
Yeah, and I really want to talk about also the art of connection. I will do it on the other side of the break. We are talking with Billy Mandarino, a fascinating man in so many different ways, with so much to teach us, and he also comes with the gift of music. So he's like the whole package, man.
Great.
Billy Mandarino, BillyMandarino.com. He's on YouTube. There's some great videos there. The Now-Ist, Be the Now-Ist Facebook handle. Check him out there, and go to Instagram. He is _Now-Ist. He's an author. He's a speaker. He's a Now-Ist, and he helps people connect to the present moment and attract abundance. Okay, so that just real quick, I want to give a little plug to the book, The Now-Ist. How many times in your life have you doubted or second guessed yourself? This book will help you create habits that will keep you in the present moment and out of stress. If you are feeling stressed out and anxious and you want to feel calm, present, and peaceful, then this easy to read book will teach you the 7 habits that will help you live your best life. We'll be right back.
All right, stand by.
Billy, are you really giving away that for free?
I go through series like 3 months, 2 months, I'll go on a free book giveaway, and then I'll take it off. You can get it on Amazon, but I want to pay it forward to people, especially now with what's going on.
Yeah.
They come to my seminar. I do a lot of one-on-one coaching as well. So I just really felt the need to give it away, just help people that are in need right now.
I was going to mention that, but then I thought I'd rather you
just have them go to my website, which is there's a free challenge on there. It's a 5-day flight, and they can which goes into a free book.
I did the challenge.
Yeah,
I did the challenge. It's really cool.
And isn't it the Red Hot Chili Peppers who say, "Give it away, give it away, give it away, give it away"?
Now, don't forget the now.
Now. All right, here we go. Segment 2 in 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. We're talking with Billy Mandarino. He is the Now-Ist, and so are you. Go to billymandarino.com and join the free challenge. Billy, quickly tell us about the challenge, because I took it, but I'd like you to explain it. It was, by the way, my experience real quickly, you get an email a day with a challenge. And it doesn't feel like for 5 days, and it doesn't feel like being spammed or like it's goofy or anything. It really is kind of cool and gets you to focus and think about something. So it's I encourage you to do it. Join the challenge on billymandarino.com. Billy, how'd that idea come up? And tell us quickly about that, if you don't mind, because we have so many topics to talk about.
I wanted to find a way to help people quickly. And of course, I have 510 videos for free on my YouTube channel that are basically all teaching videos. I did this series called the 1 Minute in the Now, 1 Minute in the Now.
510.
2 years. Solid. And every day for 5 days a week for 2 years, I would post a 1 minute video, a new 1 minute video on inspiration, on the teachings from the Now-Ist book, just how to get out of physical time and into the present moment. So I thought, you know what? How nice would it be if you could have a little longer teaching than just 1 minute, but have it come to you for 5 days? It's called Create a Magnetic Vision for Your Life. So I'm teaching people how to use their imagination, which we'll talk more about, how to use their awareness and their habits, and just a couple little techniques of how to get them out of this focus of negativity, past awareness, and worrying about their future, and giving them some things to think about with just a couple minute videos. And they come to you each day for 5 days, and they're a video. I have a video of free teaching, and it just helps you get in the habit. It's kind of a primer to get you to live this Now-Ist life, which, you know, it's not as hard as people think it is. And it
really isn't. And I really agree with you on a lot of the stuff you say, but what you said a few moments ago, you know, one thing at a time. Just one thing at a time. When you've got a million, everybody, we've all out there, we don't have time to even probably listen to this show. We don't even have time probably to be at this show, but we're here and we're in the now, Billy, the Now-Ist. But one thing at a time. And when you do that, I've been doing that just recently. I don't know where I hadn't read it in your book, but just the last few weeks, I go, I'm pretty stressed. Just one thing at a time, turn everything off and just do that one thing. As you said, be in the present. It really, really works. It really takes away the stress and it gets done. And if it doesn't get done in that day, then it'll get done tomorrow. So we put this stress on ourselves that's not necessary half the time, you know, and I really agree with that.
You know, that's exactly what it is. We have poor habits. Most people that have stress have poor habits. When I do one-on-one coaching, if you go to my website, billymandarino.com, there's a coaching application. I do one-on-one coachings through this 12-week program called Your Infinite Self. I teach people how to become their infinite self. And it's one of my favorite programs because it's in depth. It's an hour and a half, 12-week session. And I help people. I've coached many people through lots of problems: divorce, anxiety, teenage familial dynamics, financial problems. I love teaching from that place of presence, but it comes back to simple precepts.
This is something this is a quote out of your book or a chapter. How many times a day are these words uttered in all languages around the world? I am poor. I am lonely. I'm sad. I'm broken. I'm lost. I'm not enough. I'm a loser. I mean, these thoughts go, I don't know why we're wired this way, but this is how human beings think a lot. And they're battling against this. And I love the art of connection. I was talking to Jerry Brown this morning, the Gov. He's a music producer we're going to have on the show today. I said, Jerry, what do you want to talk about? Really, is there something you want to hit on? And he said, connection. And it immediately made me think about your chapter, The Art of Connection, Attracting Your Future Now. And I love this quote by Leonardo da Vinci: learn how to see, realize that everything connects to everything else. So can you talk a little bit about connection? And I know you were still going to talk about a little bit about imagination.
It's all the same, though. You're absolutely, they all feed each other. Leonardo da Vinci, I love that quote. He also says it's first in your mind and then it's in your hand. That's another Leonardo da Vinci quote. Like he's talking about your imagination, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You see his famous David, and he says, well, how did you carve the David? They asked him. He said, well, I just carved away everything that wasn't the David. His imagination saw the David in its perfection before it was just even just a block of marble.
Yeah.
But your imagination, it comes first. And so connection comes from that same place. Everything is energy. Quantum physics proves it. We are all energy. We're energy first. The only reason we can talk right now is because we are in a really low form of wave frequency. Our waveform is very slow, and that's why we have physical matter. But higher wave frequencies, where your imagination lives, where the higher levels of your energy live, and the higher levels of connection live. That's why being a Now-Ist is someone who can live skillfully in those higher realms. It's their highest self. That's why when I separated from my lower self in the golf course, my highest self was vibrating at such this high, fast frequency. That's where energy, that's where spirit resides. So the art of connection is connecting back to that spirit that we all came from, that we will return to. And you start with your imagination because it gets you out of this physical world and gets you, as Leonardo da Vinci was speaking of, in your imagination, in this creative state where we all can create what we want. Problem is, we just get so caught up in physical time and reality of physical time, and not realizing that there's 4 dimensions of there's like height, width, depth, and there's the 4th dimension, with this time. The 5th dimension is the quantum dimension, and that's when you live. It sounds a little woo-woo, but to connect skillfully, the art of connection comes when you can get into that energy of your imagination or your inspiration. Because I don't believe in motivation anymore. I'm not motivated to do anything. I'm only inspired, because motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. It's like, okay, I want to make $1 million. Good, I made $1 million. What's next? Like, right? It's just like, it's just an outcome. It's a goal. And I don't believe in goal settings. I do a lot of teaching and speaking before the pandemic. I do lots of talks for middle school and high school kids. I go out for an hour and speak to them about real estate, but I use that to get in the door. And I would just spend a whole hour talking about what I'm talking to you and Dr. D about right now, the now, and how to use their imagination. How, now spelled backward is one. Just giving them these simple concepts and teaching them that their imagination was the greatest gift you've been given, and to not get so caught up in the outcome. But as Abraham Maslow was teaching us, to become independent of the good opinion of other people and to detach from outcome, you've become self-actualized. And that's what I'm talking about. That's how you can be skillful and connect to what it is you want to bring into your life. It's energy, and you can control this energy through your imagination, through your feeling. Your feeling is the secret, because that's the high vibration. That is the magnetic presence of your heart. Your heart's the most magnetic part of your whole body. There's a 9-foot energy field that shoots forward and backwards, and like a tube torus, like a toroidal field around your body from your heart. So when you have intention and you have inspiration and you have imagination, that heart center just lights up, and then it connects to what's called coherence, which is your thinking and your heart. And then you become this magnetic attractor. The art of connection happens when you get in control of that energy. And that's when you can create these miracles in your life, and the healings and the abundance that you're really seeking. It starts from there.
And it starts from being present, right? And actually going, I'm here now. Who's in front of me? What's in front of me? What am I focused on? Or even just being alone and saying, what do I care about? I love in the book you tell us the story of Buddha, and then the quote, in order to know what you want, it is important to know what you don't want.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's so important about in being present.
Yeah.
Really realizing we kind of get on a treadmill and we do these things that we don't really want to do, and that stops us, I think, from getting what we really want.
Well, when
and
you're in the
knowing
now,
what you
well, when you're in the now, and then you can dovetail off of this as well before we go to break, Billy, and that is, I've heard this phrase, this saying, stop trying to control the process, become a part of the process. And to me, that just makes a lot of sense.
I absolutely love that. There's a gold medal winner. I forget her name. Sydney McLaughlin. She was that incredible. I don't know if you watched her win the hurdles of the 400. She was amazing. Her mantra was trust the process.
Yeah.
Trust the process. There she is. Like, she broke a world record. I think she's a gold medalist. She's incredible. 21-year-old just went there and she said they would interview her. Trust the process. That's so perfect, Dr. D, because that's what people need to do.
Yeah.
Trust the process. Don't try to control it. Just like trust the process. Do the work. I mean, to be a Now-Ist doesn't mean you sit in your room by yourself and just do nothing.
No.
You're active. You're
That sounds pretty nice, though.
Put the phone face down.
Sure, I can't do that, Billy. Come on.
People choose that way, but I prefer to be dynamic and be of service to people. I believe in paying it forward. So that's another thing we could talk to, I guess, about the break, is just paying it forward.
Mm-hmm.
The dynamic Billy Mandarino, he is on our show today. He's his new book is The Now-Ist. I'd love to challenge you to go to billymandarino.com and join the free challenge. It's really, you'll have fun, and you're going to come out of it with something, a new direction, I think, and a new outlook on life. Okay, so The Now-Ist: create habits that will keep you in the present moment and out of stress. If you're feeling stressed and anxious, and you want to feel calm, present, and peaceful, then this easy to read book will teach you the 7 habits that will help you live your best life. The Now-Ist. You can get it at billymandarino.com, and also check out his podcast. The Now-Ist Experience podcast is on Apple Podcasts. We'll be right back.
All right. I'm ready if you are.
Okay, hold on. Let me find my spot. I've got so much to ask you, Billy.
That's always the downside.
It's always the downside, but we're already running.
So much for your.
Let me make sure I'm not going to get all of them in here. So let me get to
the really
okay,
punchy ones. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. We've got Billy Mandarino. He is the Now-Ist. And he encourages you to live your full life, and he can help you do that. This book, The Now-Ist, his latest book, Finding the Signs to Your Ultimate Desires in No Time, is a really great read. And I want to go back to the very beginning. We talked about information overload. And I think everybody thinks I'm present. I'm here.
Yeah.
I got my phone in front of me. I got all the information in my pocket that I need. I'm here. What am I doing wrong? Why am I overwhelmed? Why am I stressed? I'm paying attention. Paying attention is something you write about in the book, Billy. How do we pay attention? Well, not the way we're doing it now, but
we are. To answer your question, we're in distraction mentality. We live in a distracted society. We are, it's like, what's this shiny object and what's over here? And
squirrel.
A squirrel.
We're like squirrels. That's how don't we all live that way? I find myself, I live this way, but it's a habit, it's a ritual, it's a way of life that I have a consistent way of living to stay in presence, because doing what I do and all the different things that I do, it's not that I can just say that, okay, it's all done. I've done all the work. I'm a Now-Ist. Now I just set it and forget it. It's a way of life. So most people need this reminder, and that's what this teaching is. It's a way of life. It sets up a habitual way of living that's not difficult, but it's so simple that people miss it. And I love Mark Twain's quote about comparison. He says, comparison is the death of joy. And I think we live in this comparison mentality, in this comparison society. We always feel like we need to measure up with the Joneses, with whatever we're fed through the media, or this infobesity that we all live in. And presence is hard to find when you're distracted all the time. When you're thinking, my gosh, I got these emails, I've got this whole list of things to do. So we don't live systematically. It sounds a little bit, I guess, engineered or generic, but there's systems that I can teach folks to put in place to simplify your life, to live in presence as a way of life, not so much with this distraction mentality that is what we watch. I mean, I'm not a binger of Netflix. I've during the pandemic, of course, I
Hulu.
I was caught up in these shows like The Handmaid's Tale and Yellowstone, like all these shows. I was like, whoa.
Yellowstone's pretty good to binge, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going with your point. I'm sorry.
No, I feel you, because I'm in this world. We're all in this same world. We're all in these crazy, chaotic times. But how are we going to not just survive this, but thrive through this? And that's why my passion, my mission has ramped up. That's why I've been giving the book away for free. That's why I have this free challenge. And I know, of course, I do coaching. I've got the 12-week Becoming Your Infinite Self program, because I want to help this world who's living in stress find the way out.
Why?
It's my purpose. It's my dharma. It's the calling. If you get a calling and you don't answer it, you're missing out on your life's purpose. And I help a lot of people find their life's purpose. I think one of the major questions I get is, how do I find my life's purpose? How do I, and once again, I go back to that Mark Twain quote, comparison is the death of joy, because you're trying to have your neighbor's purpose. You're trying to measure up with the supermodel or this actor or this person with a sports car that has the facade of this Instagram finished picture that makes it look like their perfect life is perfect. Once again, perfectionism is a trap.
Yeah. I don't want to look like that supermodel. I just want to date her, Billy. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I got to make a couple jokes today. I'm feeling good with Billy Mandarino, Dr. D. I'm going.
Get there. She'll be dating you. She'll be knocking on your door in a really nice sports car.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're out there,
she'll pick you up.
So the imagination. I mean, there's a few themes here that I keep going back to that you've brought up and made me really think about. And the imagination. I mean, you talk about children. There's a chapter in the book of, thinking, the art of thinking from the end, and that how children, when, we're born and when they grow up, they're young, everything's exciting. There's all this, and they're using their imagination. And then you say we're awake when we are born, and we start to fall asleep as we get older. How do we prevent that?
Oh my gosh, that is one of my favorite chapters in the book. It's called Childlike Bewilderment. And the bewilderment of living as a child is truly the key to being a Now-Ist. When you ever look at little kids playing in like the sandbox or the playground, and Batman's my favorite superhero. So you see these little kids like, I'm Batman, the cape is flowing off the back, and I'm wondering what
be Batman,
right?
Can you see Billy as Batman?
Yes.
You got the jaw and everything.
Yeah.
Right. So we live in this childlike bewilderment, and I love watching little kids. Little kids get me, and I get them, because I understand they are my teachers. They're some of my greatest teachers.
Yeah, you said that.
They're Now-Ist because you just watch them play. And Rumi, I don't know if you've heard of Rumi. He's a brilliant Persian poet, and he says, "Sell your cleverness and purchase bewilderment." I got to say it again.
I like that.
Sell your cleverness and purchase bewilderment. And there is the simple, formula, I guess, for living as a Now-Ist. It's like, we're so clever. Like, once again, we're so caught up in education and being smart, but the ignorance, and your ignorance is the bliss. And selling your cleverness and purchase bewilderment, meaning be like a child, live in your imagination, live in that wonderment of the world and how things would be if you only imagined and believed. And I love, William Shakespeare says, our doubts are our traitors that make us lose the good we oft might win only if we believed. Your doubts, like that becomes from being a grown-up. And in this world, having to make a living, how to pay the bills and how to take care of the kids and the marriage.
And working and living around people that don't have imagination, or that don't, or that are jealous if you do something that's fun, or you're happy.
Oh yeah.
And try to take that away. And
there's just you drive a better car than they have. Like, no comparison. No comparison.
Yeah.
Like those children.
There's also a great biblical passage. Come to me as little children. Be childlike, not childish. Okay. And I find that I repeat that quite often, because as a kid, you're just having fun. You've seen kids fall down, scrape their knee, cry for about 10, 15, 20 seconds. And then all of a sudden, ooh, butterfly. Okay. A squirrel.
Live in that childlike bewilderment. And that is something simple.
Yeah.
You can do, right? You can think, wait a minute, someone's listening to this, watching this, could say, hey, okay, I'm gonna do one thing from that woo-woo Billy guy, that Now-Ist guy. And I'm just gonna go watch the little kids at the playground when I'm driving by. Or I'm gonna go to the park, and I'm gonna take a lesson from them, and I'm gonna like not be so serious. I'm gonna maybe use a weird comedic voice when I talk to my friends at work. Or I'm going to do something spontaneous, and I'm gonna go down the slide and wear my polka dot outfit, or be
Yeah.
weird, be
Yeah.
fun,
Yeah.
and see how you feel.
Billy, let me know when you wear that polka dot outfit. I'm gonna, and then you go down the slide. I'm gonna come watch.
My imagination is
I'm gonna come and play with. I'll play in the sandbox with you.
I love it.
All right, we'll be right back. This is our last break. We'll be back with a little bit more from Billy Mandarino, as a little more as time allows. BillyMandarino.com, one-on-one coaching with Billy. We'll be right back.
Okay, I'm all set.
Okay, we got a few
We've
more
got
minutes.
About 5 minutes.
Okay, I got to touch on music with you.
All right, go for it.
'Cause
In
Billy, you're a music man.
3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show with Billy Mandarino. Book is The Now-Ist. It is fascinating. It is simple. It's really great storytelling too, which makes it enjoyable. It's not preachy as some, when some books, self-help books come off as it's just flat. And Billy's really got a lot of fullness in this book. The Conscious Conductor, chapter 5. I like this a lot because we both, I think we all in this room and probably a lot of us, almost everybody out there listening, likes and loves music in their lives. It's a big part. And music, I'm going to read a quote by Rabindranath. I practiced this with Richard and I didn't get it right.
Rabindranath Tagore.
Okay, you do it. Music is the and he
nailed that, man.
He nailed it. And I was nailing it before. I said it like 20 times.
He did actually get it.
Yes, thank you.
Real good. And he just got nervous because he's in your presence, Billy.
I actually can't really read it. Again, these glasses are kind of working today.
All right. Anyway, Rabindranath said,
music is the purest form of art. Therefore, true poets, they who are seers, seek to express the universe in terms of music. The singer has everything within him. The notes come out from his very life. They are not materials gathered from outside. Billy, you've got a great band in the present tense. And what is music? How does that play into your life, into the Now-Ist way of life?
Thank you for sharing that Rabindranath Tagore quote because it has so much.
Sure, show off. Everybody can say it through me.
No. I just think that quote inspired me in that entire chapter. That's why I had to leave the chapter with that quote. Because when I
Prince, I love the story about Prince.
Prince, to me, I know y'all are music fans, and I am a huge musician fan. But I think Prince, in my personal opinion, was the greatest artist of all time. I mean, I would lump him into Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo. I think Prince is of that ilk because he's got, I think, 100 years of music in his vault that hasn't even been released even after he passed away. And I just feel like he brought his authentic self to this world in music. And the thing is, once again, we live in this comparison mentality. He didn't care what people thought of him. He was his authentic self and created all kinds of country, rock, soul, R&B, blues, hip hop, jazz. I mean, you name it. He was covering all genres of music. And he just blew my mind because of his authenticity and his creativity. He had so much in him that he wanted to get out. He was working timelessly. And I talk, briefly about Prince in there because I just was so inspired by him. Whether you love him or hate him, you got to honor his light in this world that he shined for that 57 years that he was here. And I just felt inspired. So when I read that quote and I think, yes, he epitomized music because he was coming from that place of his inspiration, not his motivation, not what the world wanted to hear in a hit song and a follow-up to like, Let's Go Crazy or Purple Rain. It was like, no. How can I be my authentic self and just what am I feeling inspired about? And then I create that. And as a musician, I just love that. My music sounds nothing like Prince. And the music Kirsten and I create in our band in the present tense is nothing like Prince. But I would just always think, how can I be more my authentic self? How can that music, as Rabindranath Tagore talked about, how can that come out of me without being convoluted or out contrived? Or how can I just come from my inspiration and my truth? and not care what people think about it, but just come from my honesty and my truth. So I'm blessed and fortunate to be a musician, someone that can speak that language. And I just feel so honored. So Kirsten and I are always writing new music. We can't wait to perform more music. Our new record came out, May 6th.
And I'm going to say it again. It's really good.
Thank you, man.
Really, really good.
Thank you both so much. So that's where it comes from. The music doesn't come from me. It comes from a higher power. I just love that I can connect to it and be honest and authentic with it and just bring it out and like shed light. Music is light to me. It's that universal language because it is a light. It's not darkness. It's just light.
Billy, we've got 1 minute left. Abundance, acknowledgement. These are some of how you close out the book. I wanted you to be able to give acknowledgement that you do in the book here, if you'd like, at the end of the show here. And I wanted to tease the listeners out there. There's 7 habits that will help you live your best life. We discussed a couple of them here that you should pick up the book, The Now-Ist. Go to billymandarino.com and get your copy. Billy, acknowledgements. Who would you like to acknowledge here?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Dr. D. Thank you, Jeremiah. I feel honored and blessed and fortunate to be on this show because you have such a world-class show. And from our last, when you interviewed our band in the present tense, just like I said, the rave reviews were off the charts. And I'm just thankful
to hear.
Allowed the Now-Ist and myself and this teaching to go out into the airwaves and out to eyes of people who get to watch us on YouTube. And I acknowledge it literally. I acknowledge the people that have inspired me, my family, my wife, my dad, and my grandmother, my Nana. And I want to briefly touch on that January 8th that I kind of cued us earlier in the interview. The January 8th is this very auspicious date because January 8th was a day Elvis Presley, speaking of musicians and brilliant genius musicians, Elvis Presley was born January 8th. And January 8th, my grandmother passed away 2011 to go home with the king. And she was the biggest Elvis Presley fan you ever met in your life. And she dies on Elvis's birthday. I thought, oh my gosh, that is crazy. That is very synchronistic. And then January 8th of this year, I tested positive for COVID. And I went on a journey where I became paralyzed and I was admitted to the hospital for 21 nights. And I had to learn to walk again because I had Guillain-Barré syndrome from COVID. And I had this full on, obviously the teachings that I've studied and taught and learned about for, a good decade all came into play. So I've got to give so much love to the doctors at Cottage Hospital, the world-class care at Cottage Hospital, because those doctors, physical therapists, OTs, PT, ST, neurologists, infectious disease, they all teamed up and they helped me get better. And now I have 100%. I have no numbness. I'm 100%. I'm golfing again. I'm carrying my bag. But that January 8th, that was a completely life-changing day. And so what was crazy about it is I was able to, from that experience, go to the seminar, the Now-Ist Experience Live we just had May 7th and 8th, and teach from that place of that experience. So I know things happen for a reason. You have to bless your problems. They're some of the greatest teachers and gifts you've been given because they teach you. I called it my COVID cocoon, because I'm claustrophobic and I was in an MRI tube for 4.5 hours. And it was one of the hardest things I had to do, but I had to do the Now-Ist meditation. I chanted, I sung, I used my imagination to get out of that coffin I was in. I call it my COVID cocoon because out of that coffin, if you will, my highest self was able to experience this almost like a monarch butterfly that's in a cocoon. Then it goes to that stage, rigor mortis, and it becomes this angelic-like creature. Well, from that paralysis and that inability to walk, and I learned how to be a better teacher and a better husband, a better dad, and a better servant to this world. So I'm grateful for everybody that clues into what this Now-Ist teaching is and has the inspiration to go deeper. And I'm here to be of service. So I'm just grateful for everybody because I think gratitude is the best multiplier. The more grateful you are, then you learn to pay it forward. You can change this world from a place of not what's in it for me, but how can I serve?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great words to reflect on and end on, but don't let it stop there. Go pick up your copy of The Now-Ist. Billy Mandarino, thank you so much for being with us this hour. Been really great.
Thank you, Jeremiah. It's a gift. Thank you both so much.
Thank you. BillyMandarino.com. YouTube, 501 videos, I think he said, on YouTube.
Something like that.
Facebook, you can find him on Facebook at Be The Now-Ist. On Instagram at _Now-Ist. Now-Ist. Billy Mandarino, author, speaker, Now-Ist. Everybody have a great week. Listen more and evolve.
You're clear.
Very cool. Billy, can we get you to do a real quick
course, commercial
radio drop? And I see my other guest is waiting for me, so I gotta.
You got a 1 o'clock with Jerry.
Jump, yeah. Oh, it's 1:04. I'm late. Yeah, if you could do just a real quick, like, hey, this is Billy Mandarino. Check out my book, The Now-Ist, and whatever you want to say about that, and then you're listening to the Jeremiah Show.
All right, and I will count you down in 3, 2, 1.
Good day, my friends. It's Billy Mandarino, the Now-Ist. I'm so honored to be on the Jeremiah Show. He brings so much light and information and joy into his show. I'm so blessed to be here. Check it out, the Jeremiah Show.
All right, terrific.
Thank you,
hey,
Billy.
I just have one quick question and we'll let you go. What color robes do Now-Ists wear?
White.
Because I want to get one.
White.
Hey, Billy, we'll be in touch.
You can wear it while you're watching your cartoons.
There you go.
Eat a bowl of cereal.
It's funny.
All right, Billy. Thank you.
Thank you guys. You're both the best.
You bet. Talk to you later.
Man. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace, you guys.
Okay. Turn on the mics.
Jerry Brown, the Gov, and do I hear we have Brian here?
I believe. Oh,
he's
God.
Gonna give Dr. D. He's gonna give you.
I'm just
envy again.
I I could say something and I don't want to get crass, so I won't. But that's a beautiful, beautiful picture. I must say that's just.
We try not to get Dr. D worked up before a show like this.
You know,
but who would be looking in the back of his car if we didn't have something to spook him with? So, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
And Jerry's on an iPad. He'll be on in just a sec. Jerry and I were talking. We went through. You got the show rundown. I invited you to, right, Jeremiah? You got that whole long. It's like 4 pages of. No.
When was that? I was looking for everything I could this morning in my email.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Putting a PDF in the Zoom chat right now.
It came from you, Brian. Maybe.
Yeah, it was an invite to the mailbox. I should have just emailed it to you directly. No, I'm going to put it actually in the chat.
I won't be able to find it. Oh, okay.
Oh, the chat.
Okay.
Yeah. It is extensive Jerry Brown history.
Extensive.
Oh man, I don't know if I better. I put together something here. Of course,
this will give you.
But I have a hard time reading and talking. Where is it at? The chat, you said.
Copy.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hey Jerry.
Jerry, how you doing? Welcome.
Hello, Jeremiah.
We're old friends already. We've been chatting all morning.
All right. All we need is your video.
You might be hiding though. You may not.
I
like to hide.
I can relate.
So part of the reason I was here is helping Jerry put all of this together and going through it. So the thought was, if we get to a point where we're talking about something, all of this stuff. Were you able to open the PDF, Jeremiah?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I'm reading as quickly as I can.
Yeah, no, I can throw some softballs. I only have one question.
I have most of this actually already on my own research. I'm looking through it. I have a lot. Go ahead, though,
good.
Brian.
Is if I am muted, I know when you don't take the audio from the Zoom download, do you?
I know. I'm coming off the console with the audio from Zoom and so forth.
Okay, because the when you mute in Zoom, it stops recording, so the things get out of alignment. The audio files aren't all the same length. You mean.
I see.
So I was gonna avoid muting and unmuting, but I'll stay muted majority of the time.
Okay.
And
You're
but if there's
welcome to jump in on the interview if there's something you want to bring up that because I'm not, maybe I'm not hitting something you wanted to definitely get out there. You're welcome to jump in and co-host with me, Brian.
yeah, and that was the thought.
Yeah.
Okay. We ready?
Yes,
If our special guest is ready, I'm ready. And you want to do